Okay, Panzer J back with the Japanese turn in Operation Live and Let Die 9.3, July 1940. So, just a couple things I need to go over quick before we get into the Japanese turn. So, the first thing is if you saw Global War 36 enthusiasts, last video for the Comintern, he put down a whole bunch of Russian militia. So, I don't have enough of the militia sculpts. I'm going to have to order some new ones. So any of these just brown chips in these Russian territories by themselves represent the militia. So some territories he put just a single militia down, and then other ones he put multiple militia. But if you just see a simple brown chip or chips, that is representing the Russian militia that he put on the board. Another thing was there was a lot of debate about this medium factory in Bohemia. So one of the gentlemen commented that he actually talked to Doug from Historical Board Gaming, and Doug confirmed that is supposed to stay a medium factory, that since it was not combat, Germany gets to keep it as a medium factory, but since it's outside of its home country, it can't be upgraded. So I can't upgrade that to a major factory, but it's not downgraded to a minor either. It stays as the medium, which is what I thought was the intent of the designers. So I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm not going to change any of my purchases or where I put the units down. Everything's fine the way it is. Just for any future turns, if I use that factory, it's being used as a medium factory. Another thing was when I had done the Vichy rolls, I had forgot to roll for the two ships on the production chart. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for those. And let's take a look and see exactly. So 1 through 7. So ships on the French production chart, 1 through 7, they're scuttled. 8 through 10, they remain Vichy and stay on the chart. 11 or 12, they're German. So we have two ships to roll for, this battleship at stage 4 and then this cruiser at stage 2. So let's go ahead and roll for the battleship first. And we got a 2, so 1 through 7, it's scuttled. And then the cruiser, 7, it's scuttled. So both ships got scuttled. One other thing with Vichy was, if you watched my German video, I went ahead and reserved the right to move the Vichy units in southern France because Fighting Irish had went ahead and attacked the Vichy. But he was unaware that that would align Vichy to the Germans, so he's retracted that move, and myself and Global War 36 enthusiasts have agreed to let him do that. So Vichy's not aligned, but because I was unsure if Vichy was going to be aligned or just simply controlled, I didn't go ahead and roll the recruitment roll for the Vichy. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I need a 1 or a 2 to successfully to get my recruitment roll, and we got a 4, so no new units for the Vichy. So I think that pretty much covers the extra stuff that I had to talk about. So now on to the Japanese turn, and as you can see, things are looking bleaker by the turn here for the Japanese. So I'm not sure there's any rabbits I can pull out of my hat. Just got to do the best I can with the Japanese right now. So first for our tech rolls, we're at stage 3 for 2 tech, wartime economy and improved construction. So those are the 2 we're going to roll for. So let's go ahead and roll, and they both require a 7 or higher. So first wartime economy, 9, there you go. Japan finally got some good news. And then finally improved construction, 7 or higher. And we got a 2, so I'll take one of them. And definitely the most important one of the 2 was wartime economy at this point. So they move over, and they are now, that is now the second tech the Axis have completed in the game. So there's that. Okay, so now, one other thing that I had forgot to take care of, and I'll do that now as well. is Global War 36 enthusiast. When he rolled for his wartime Russian economy at the end of the Russians' turn, he rolled 2d12s. He was supposed to roll 2d6s. So he went ahead and said that I could roll 1d6 and Fighting Irish the other for his wartime economy. So let's go ahead and roll 1d6 for him. And he got a 1. I promise that wasn't intentional on my part. So he got a 1 for me, and then combine that with whatever Fighting Irish goes ahead and rolls. Okay, so now we're on to the purchase portion of the Japanese turn. They had $28 to spend. They are going to go ahead and save a buck and spend 27 for 3 infantry for 9, 2 subs for 6 apiece. That's 12. That's 21, and then another coastal artillery for 6. So that's the $27 the Japanese are going to spend. As far as combat moves, we are going to continue to convoy here in 124, the Australians. And then besides that, we are going to bring the entire fleet here in 126, along with these ground units and the destroyer and this infantry. In 127, they're all going to come down 1, 2, and land in New Zealand. So we are attacking New Zealand this turn. And those are going to be the only 2 combat moves. So first, let's go ahead and roll for our convoy rating with this submarine. So first for the Japanese, they roll a 2, and they get a 1 modifier plus for the coastal subs. That's a 3. Australia rolls a 1. So $2 Fighting Irish has to surrender to the bank as the Australians. Okay, so then we're going to come down here to this sea zone. So this entire fleet can come down, which is a fleet carrier, a light carrier, 3 heavy cruiser or 3 light cruisers, 1 heavy cruiser, 4 destroyers, 2 tacticals, and 1 fighter. So, and 3 of those 4 destroyers can take these ground units, which are 2 Marines and 1 infantry. And then this destroyer can bring this infantry. Okay, so we're attacking with, for ground units, 2 Marines and 2 infantry. Now, I'm not sure if Australia is considered mountainous or not. I can't really tell one way or the other. I don't believe it is, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it as it is mountainous. Again, I'd rather err on the side favorable to my opponent. So we are going to go ahead and shore bombard. We've got our 3 light cruisers and 1 heavy cruiser that can shore bombard because of the 4 ground units that are being landed. So let's go ahead and look at the shore bombardment. So let's see what we got here. So where are we at for our ships? I should have had this done earlier. So now I can't find them on the chart. How wonderful. Okay, so let's go ahead and take that off of there. And let's come over. I believe heavy cruisers are a 2 and light cruisers are a 1. But I just want to make sure that's correct. So just bear with me for a minute. Let's see what we got. This is what I get for trying to hurry up and get this churn out and not being completely prepared. Okay, yeah, so light cruisers are a 1 and heavy cruisers are a 2. So I have 3 shots at a 1 with the 3 light cruisers. And we didn't get any hits. And then the heavy cruiser is a 2. And we got a 5. So we missed on all of those. Okay. So now I have the 2 tacticals here that can obviously reach and the 1 fighter, because this whole fleet came 1, 2. so the planes can make it. So we're going to have 2 rolls of a 7 for the fight, or for the tacticals. 2 12s. Oh boy. The fighter for a 6, a 3, so that hits. And then we get 2 Marines at 2, no hits, and 2 1s with the regular infantry, and they miss as well. So now he's going to get 2, so I got 1 hit, so he's going to get 2 militia at 2s. But again, for now, I'm going to consider the New Zealand Mountainous, so that's +1, so that's 3 for them. Or excuse me, never mind. It's only minus for the attacker. It's not plus for the defender. So he just gets 2 2s, and he doesn't get a hit. So, or even if it was a 3, they both missed regardless. Okay, so now he's down to 1 militia. So I get my 2 tacticals at 7. And they both hit, so I only needed 1 hit, and his militia in return got as a 2, so he does get a hit. But it's not the first round of combat anymore, so I don't have to suffer double casualties with the infantry, so I'm going to take off just 1 infantry. So he loses both his militia, I lose 1 infantry. New Zealand is now Japanese, and that's worth $2 for Japan, and down $2 for Australia. Okay, and then this whole fleet, we'll move this fleet marker down here. So now that fleet consists of a fleet carrier, a light carrier, 2 tacticals, a fighter, 3 light cruisers, a heavy cruiser, and 5 destroyers. And that is it for Japanese combat moves. And now non-combat, we're going to send our fighter from Okinawa to Kyushu. We're going to send our 4 light cruisers from 56. They can move 4 spaces because of the major port. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're down here in the Caroline Islands. And then we are going to pull back from Russia. We're going to consolidate our forces. So this cavalry will move to eastern Manchuria along with all of the infantry and the motorized. So all of those Japanese forces are combined in eastern Manchuria. And that should be it for non-combat moves. So then for unit placement, we're going to go ahead and place our new coastal artillery in Tokyo. So now that is a 2nd coastal artillery gun in Tokyo. We're going to place our 3 infantry in Kyushu. And we're going to place our 2 subs. Let's see, where do we want the 2 subs to go? We are going to place our 2 subs over here in C Zone 38. So that should be it for the Japanese. So they were at $22. And I went up $2 for New Zealand. So that's 24. And then I'll go ahead and knock. Anzac should be down to 4, I believe. Okay. So then let's go ahead and look at any bonuses for the Japanese. So they still have Borneo and Java. So that's $4. And they have the Solomons as $1, so that's $5 in bonuses, I believe. So let's just double check. I'm pretty sure there's Borneo, there's Java. Yep. So they get $5 in bonuses. So that's up to $29. Okay. They saved $1, so that's 30. And now let's go ahead and roll our 2d6s for wartime economy, and we get a 9. So Japan will have, hopefully my math is correct, Japan should have $39 to spend on turn number 10. Turning things over now to Fighting Irish for the Commonwealth and the French turn.